So I've literally just got off a coaching call. It was a really interesting coaching call with a great client of mine. And we were talking about information and the future of information and where information sits with being available to people nowadays, especially for brokers. We're actually talking about what I do, but also this is exactly the same for brokers, is if I make so much content, won't people just stop working with me and they'll go direct, or they'll take the content straight away and just go off on their own? And it's the same thing, by the way, with brokers. When I was talking about this, it's the idea of, I could just go direct to the bank and do it by myself. Why do I need you? There's a really interesting conversation we had about this, and I wanted to share it with you and kind of just give you a concept around this as to why actually you are not necessarily selling information. Okay, and why actually, if that's what you're thinking now in the future, in the next kind of 5 to 10 years, if you're thinking that people are coming to you because you have information, that's probably not a good idea. So let's unpack that right now. So if we think pre-internet, okay, we think pre-internet, there is no information pre-internet. That is the currency. There is money with the internet, with information, sorry. So pre-internet, that is what we're selling. Everybody is selling that. We're in an era, a time in place where people didn't actually have access to any information. As an estate agent, as an example of this, is that estate agents, when they were selling houses, they were so valuable and they were kind of the gatekeepers because they had their book of all of the houses they sold in the local area, and they would do a comp. And that's where a lot of this old school stuff still in place. Why would we use them when Zoopla's replaced it and stuff? Is that they would have the comps there. They would be able to look through them and they would be able to know that I've sold X amount of houses down this street and we sold it for this price. You don't know it. And if you want to access it, you're going to have to go and look at land registry, which isn't easy because it's not just available as online. Information was currency, always. Biggest way. So at that point, brokers, same thing. We're selling information. We are the gatekeepers to that. Now, what moves on is the internet comes in. So the internet appears. And what actually happens is now we have cheap info. The internet democratizes information. It is now cheap to get information. It is not hard for anybody to go and search what they want. They're going to search forums. They're going to look around. And so now we're seeing people slowly valuing those kind of service-based businesses less in that way. So these are your estate agents, brokers, whatever, coaches, anything like that. Solicitors, accountants, these people who had access to information that otherwise we would not have access to. These are the people who now started to struggle. And so what we've seen is a shift in people struggling. Where do we charge fees? How do I find clients? We've moved to a place where now people can check you. They can see if they like you. They can see if there's other deals. They can compare. They can do all this stuff. And that's because we moved into the era of the internet, which meant that it was now cheap. Information was everywhere and you could just pick it up wherever you wanted. Now, that moves us on to the third bit, which is the era we're living in now. And this era is AI. Now, what does AI mean? AI means free information. We are in the world now where everything is free. Information is at such a level and at such a volume at our fingertips by literally a touch of a button. We could literally just pick up this phone right now and I could say, could you recommend me some mortgage deals? And yes, it can't give you advice. I understand that, but it can get pretty close. You could ask it for, a complete 12-month content plan. You could ask it for a sales plan. You could ask it to overcome objections. You can do all of these things. So we're in a world now where information is at such an abundance that we are in an overwhelm that there's too much. So where do we then fit? Where do brokers fit into this? Where do people like me fit into this? Because we're the same thing, because what we are is this, we're consultants. I'm a consultant, coach, whatever you want to call it, but I'm a consultant. You're a consultant. You're consulting people on their mortgage. So where do we fit into this? Well, actually, our job is to do the following thing. Our job is to take all this information that is here, so it's scattered around and it's all crazy, there's so much information, and our job is to take one thing and make this super simple so the client gets the outcome. Our job is to be outcome focused and to decipher all of the mess that's in the information sphere right now so that the client has a clear outcome and exactly how to get there. That is what we do. Now, along that way, it's our job to hold their hands and to make sure and to keep them focused. Each one of these things, these are all points where they may themselves have got distracted or not done it. Our job now in a world of information overload is to make sure that every single person we work with doesn't get overwhelmed with information, that we take away the overwhelm and we guide them to the ideal outcome without them having to sieve through the information. The value is in that. The value is in implementation, accountability. That is where the real value is, in the human value in this AI world. So how do you compete with AI? You don't. You don't compete with AI. You become the human filter for that information. It's exactly the same with mortgages. It's exactly the same with what I do. It's the reason why I share content like this now for free that I'm doing. Your job, if you want to be the best in this world, in this free information world, is to completely give everything away for free that you have in regards to information, and then you sell implementation. You sell outcomes. You sell that you're removing the stress, you're holding their hands, done with you services. Those are the things that are going to do well. That's how you're going to do it. But if you're still living in this world, which is the world I spoke about here, the pre-internet world, or even the internet, if you're still hiding lenders and doing all of that stuff, you are living in the Stone Age. We need to move away from that. That is not the outcomes that people are after anymore. It's not going to work. It kind of didn't really work during the internet era. It's definitely not going to work now. And so if you're a broker coming into the industry new, or like right now, or you're a broker and you've been advising for a long time, what I'm telling you to do is shift to start selling human connection. They need to like you, buy into you, and that you are selling a structured outcome, a desired outcome that they get to, where you can decipher the information that make it relevant to them. Because the world is getting overwhelmed with way too much stuff. That's how you sell, that's how you survive, and that's how you will thrive. Now, if you enjoyed this video, check out my other video on screen right now, which is a deep dive into the authority formula, which is how you can generate leads online using social media. It's a keynote I gave. You can absolutely love it. Give it a click.